was the most spontaneous thing about it. Chapter 4. The Old School Jeff. A few weeks later, a new challenge arose. Audrey's boss, Susan, was getting married. "I'm not going," Jeff said simply. "I don't know Susan. I don't want to meet Susan. And I certainly don't want to see a man dressed like Romeo proposing in an office hallway." "Fine," Audrey sighed. "Since the guys are going to the fight on Saturday, go. Have your man night." Adam was worried. "Old School Jeff?" he asked Russell. "What does that mean?" "It means drinking," Russell explained with a dark grin. "Heavy drinking. Usually, it ends with Jeff trying to steal a cop's horse or challenging a fraternity to a wrestling match. It's legendary and dangerous." Adam, being the responsible one, decided he would be the designated Jeff-sitter. He would ensure that Jeff stayed within the boundaries of legal behavior. But Jeff had other plans. At the bar, the sight of a pitcher of scotch was all it took. "Old School!" Jeff roared, his eyes lighting up with a mischievous fire. "Adam, stop thinking and start drinking. We're in the zone!" As Jeff grew more old school, Adam found himself caught in the middle of a social hurricane. Meanwhile, at the wedding, Audrey and Jennifer were dealing with a different kind of monster. A 10-year-old nephew who had recorded them making disparaging remarks about the bride's back fat. "Show me your boobs and I'll erase the tape," the kid demanded, holding his camera like a weapon. "Absolutely not," Jennifer hissed. "One of them?" the kid countered. It was a standoff. Manhattan weddings were truly a battlefield. Back at the bar, Jeff was singing karaoke. He had chosen "Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car." He wasn't just singing, he was performing. He was a man possessed by the spirit of 80 seconds pop and excessive scotch. When Audrey arrived, fuming and exhausted from the wedding, she saw her husband on stage, gyrating to Billy Ocean. "That idiot is my husband," she told the little boy who had followed her there. The boy looked at Jeff, then back at Audrey. "So, if I act like an idiot for a girl, I might get to see her boobs?" Audrey smiled, a weary, knowing smile. "He is definitely going to see mine tonight, for the effort alone." Chapter 5. The Scam and the Sister. The engagement party for Adam and Jennifer was supposed to be a celebration of love. In reality, it was a tactical maneuver designed to secure a high-end toaster. "We can't have two parties," Jennifer told Adam, "but we need new stuff. The blender is dead, the microwave is a hazard, and I want that 6-slice toaster." "A practice party," Adam suggested. "We invite the people we don't actually like, the B-list. We get the gifts, they get the wine, everybody wins." They set up a registry. It was a masterpiece of greed. Meanwhile, Audrey's sister Barbara had arrived in town. She was fresh off a divorce and looking for trouble. Russell naturally was the first volunteer to provide it. "She's single and ready to mingle," Barbara declared, tossing her hair. Russell was intrigued. Usually, he avoided sisters. It complicated things. But Barbara was different. She had a wit that matched his own. "I didn't hit it, yet I don't want to quit it," Russell confessed to the guys later. I think I might be falling in love. It's gross. My heart feels like it has an erection." The practice party was a success, until the guests started catching on. "We're renewing our vows next week," one couple announced. "You're invited. We're registered at Tiffany's." Adam and Jennifer realized the horrifying truth. The scam was a two-way street. Every gift they received would eventually cost them a gift in return. The free stuff was a lie. Chapter 6. The Elevator Destiny. Russell's love for Barbara was short-lived, replaced by a new obsession. He had seen a woman in the elevator, a blonde goddess with blue eyes and the kind of pouty lips that launched 1,000 ships. "She's the one," Russell declared. "I can feel it." He spent the next week riding the elevator, up and down, floor 1 to floor 20. He befriended the doorman, Oscar. He ordered pizza to the elevator. He was a man on a mission. "You've been riding the elevator for a week just to meet me?" the woman asked when he finally cornered her. "Yes," Russell said, pouring his heart out. "I think it's destiny." The woman reached into her purse and maced him. "Ah! Oh God!" Russell screamed, collapsing to the floor. "The humanity!" "Usually takes about 10 minutes for the eyes to readjust," Jeff noted, walking past the elevator with a cigar. "Tough luck, Cupid." But Russell was nothing if not resilient. As he sat on the floor, blinking through the stinging tears, a woman from a modeling agency approached him. You're very dedicated, she said. I own a small agency. Swimsuits, lingerie. We need men who aren't afraid to take a hit. Russell looked up, a lopsided grin forming through the pane. Lingerie? Oscar, get the car! We're back in business! Chapter 7. The Final Act. The season of engagements, weddings, and messenger bags drew to a close with a trip to the theater. Audrey and Jennifer had tickets to The Golden Staircase, a Broadway musical they had been dying to see. Jeff and Adam, however, were determined to escape. I'm not sitting through a 3-hour love ballad, Jeff whispered to Adam as they stood outside the theater. Me neither, Adam agreed. They sold their tickets to a couple of desperate tourists and spent the evening in a cigar lounge, drinking 30-year-old malt and laughing about the fix-up disasters of the past year. You know, Jeff said, puffing on his cigar, marriage is a lot like this cigar. It's expensive, it's a bit of a health hazard, and occasionally it blows smoke in your face. But at the end of the day, it's a damn good smoke. Adam nodded. And the toaster? Did Jennifer get the 6th slice? Jeff laughed. She did, but I'm the one who has to make the toast. As the Manhattan skyline glittered outside the window, the rules of engagement remained clear. Compromise was key, laughter was mandatory, and never, under any circumstances, call a messenger bag a purse. Chapter 8. The Opera Trap. The aftermath of the theater ticket scalping wasn't as quiet as Jeff and Adam had hoped. Their wives, fueled by a mixture of righteous fury and a sudden interest in high culture, had planned a counterstrike. La Bohème. Audrey announced over breakfast, her voice possessing a dangerous, melodic quality. Jack and Sheila, the couple you so graciously blessed with your presence by proxy, have invited us to the opera. Jeff stopped mid-bite of his bagel. The opera? Is that the one where people scream until someone dies, and then they scream some more? It's a masterpiece, Jeff, Jennifer added, leaning against the kitchen counter. And since you and Adam were so generous as to sell your musical tickets, we thought we'd spend that extra profit on formal wear. Jeff looked at Adam. Adam looked at the floor. They were trapped in a cycle of cultural retribution. The night of the opera was a slow-motion car crash of tuxedos and uncomfortable shoes. Jeff felt like a penguin in a straitjacket. Adam looked like he was being prepared for a state funeral. As the first aria filled the grand hall, Jeff leaned toward Adam. How much do you think we can get for these seats? I saw a guy in the lobby who looked like he'd trade a kidney for a box seat. Don't even think about it, Audrey hissed, her hand gripping Jeff's arm with surprising strength. The opera was 3 hours of Italian suffering. By the end, Jeff was convinced that the characters weren't the only ones dying. He felt his soul slowly leaking out through his patent leather shoes. That was transformative, Audrey sighed as they exited the building. It certainly was, Jeff agreed, eyes scanning the street for the nearest bar. I've been transformed into a man who needs a scotch large enough to drown a toddler. Chapter 9. The Bar Mitzvah and Other Social Hazards. If the opera was a tragedy, the next weekend was a farce. Rachel, a neighbor whose primary personality trait was dog-obsessed, was throwing a bar mitzvah for her golden retriever. A bar mitzvah, Adam? Jennifer asked, looking at the invitation. Is this legal? Is there a canine rabbi? She's registering at Petco, Adam noted, his eyes wide. We have to bring a gift. For a dog. That doesn't know what day it is. Jeff, of course, found the entire concept offensive to his sensibilities. I am not celebrating a dog's transition into manhood. Unless that dog is going to start paying rent and picking up its own business in the park, I'm out. But the rules of apartment living were absolute. They stood in a crowded apartment filled with yapping terriers and gluten-free dog biscuits. He's a man today, Rachel cooed, adjusting the tiny yarmulke on the dog's head. Russell was in heaven. Do you think she has any friends? You know, human women who are equally unhinged? I find the crazy dog lady vibe very approachable. As the ceremony concluded, Jeff found himself cornered by the talking scale he had tried to gift away weeks ago. You have gained 2 pounds. The scale announced as a heavy bulldog stepped on it. Even the furniture is judging us, Jeff muttered, grabbing a handful of human-grade cheese cubes. Manhattan is where sanity goes to die and get a tax write-off. Chapter 10. The Fix-Up Echo. The saga of Jack and Sheila continued to haunt the group like a bad smell. Despite the dinner cruise disaster and the biological clock revelations, the two were still together, much to everyone's surprise. They're dating, Audrey said, her voice filled with a suspicious amount of pride. "I told you they were a good match. They're dating because they're both too exhausted to find someone else," Jeff countered. "It's a relationship based